Welcome to episode 50, Annecam Sailing Australia. This episode, we head back to Magnetic Island for the second time. A quick look back at the weekend we had just had.
Line up, your piece of the Shag Island.
All of you guys up there, come on down and have some rendezvous cake.
It's birthday cake time.
A great time with great friends at a very worthy cause, the Shag Islet Cruising Yacht Club's Rendezvous for 2017.
Happy pirates.
As the sun set on this fantastic weekend, it was time to lift our anchor and set our course for Magnetic Island once again. The sea was flat, the breezes were light, so a lot of motor sailing was the order of the day. It's not too often we get the chance to run our full genoa along with our full mainsail up, as usually the winds are a little bit too heavy. But today was the day. Annie was having a little bit of mother-daughter time. We did have a lot of company on the water with us that day. There was this catamaran that we passed early in the journey. Later on, they passed us with no sails up. That would be Bowen off in the distance. And this would be Cape Upstart. We're just arriving about 1.5 hours before sunset. We managed to get our anchor down in plenty of daylight to see what we're up to in this beautiful, calm anchorage in behind Cape Upstart, inside Horseshoe Bay. The very next morning, we got underway just as the sun was rising. We sailed past Cape Bowling Green once again. We sometimes use our spinnaker pole to hold the genoa out if we're running downwind for any length of time. And it's not every day we get to see some traffic on the water. This time, a yacht by the name of Annecam was coming the dead opposite direction. It was that relaxing on this passage that Annie had some time to read her book. We caught this nice mac tuna just before we arrived in Horseshoe Bay on Magnetic Island. Even though we sailed up in very calm conditions, the swell built up and started coming into the bay, so we deployed our flopper stopper, which consisted of a small drogue attached to the end of the spinnaker pole that cuts out some of the roll. We jump in Annecam, our dinghy, and head into shore. We pick out a spot on the beach to land on, between the dinghies that are already here. We find a nice quiet park bench in Horseshoe Bay overlooking the anchorage to wait for the others. Margaret, Annie, Donna, Sue, Jeff, Glenn, Sue, Lindsay, Charlie, Bill and Naomi are just some of the cruisers that gather here each night for sundowners to share story and share the good times. The next morning we catch the local bus and head off down to Nellie Bay, just for something to do off Annecam. We say a quick hello to fellow cruisers Karen and Walter as we are leaving the bus. It's here that I'll make a note to myself to have the GoPro camera battery charged up so we can record what we got up to down at Nellie Bay. The next morning, this time with a charged up battery, we head off from Annecam once again. We go for a cruise around the bay, checking out all of the coral heads, the bommies, the places we would not go in Annecam. We say g'day to these kayakers on our way into the shore. That swell I mentioned earlier is causing a small wave break right on the beach. We take a stroll along the beach, along with several other people on this beautiful day up here on Magnetic Island. Annie finds some more seashells for her collection. We spot the sign for a walking trail. Choices: Balding or Radical Bay. As the trail leaves the head of the beach, we walk through lush, almost tropical rainforest. This trail is quite steep in some places, and as you can see, that lush tropical garden is giving way to dry, prickly scrub. The day was quite warm, and there was very little breeze entering the scrub, so we used any excuse at all to have a sit down in the shade. We did this very often. I was wearing my trusty sandals, and Annie was wearing her flip-flops. Us Aussies call them thongs, which is not quite the appropriate footwear for this type of a trail. It seemed to be a never-ending climb. On and up we went. We did meet several other hikers on the day, and they were doing it with ease.
Well done, guys.
It was such a relief to finally get up to the top, where everything seemed to flatten out. But the thongs, or flip-flops, that Annie was wearing offer very little protection against sharp stones and sticks. It turns out Balding Bay is a nudist beach, and this sign painted on this rock is all we're going to show of it. We love the rock formations in this part of the world. The views from up here were absolutely fantastic. Pity the GoPro didn't have a zoom lens. You would be able to see a lot more. Finally, back down on the flat ground. Just that short stroll I took off into the scrub to get the better view resulted in losing a bit of skin. Finally, back down on the beach. We make it back down to Horseshoe Bay in time to have a meal of fish and chips. And this beautiful little rainbow lorikeet decided he was going to share it with us. We sit on Annecam and watch the other boat traffic come and go on this beautiful island in this beautiful part of the world. We love Magnetic Island. Our waypoints for those that wish to follow.